Okay, fast forward. I'm taking the president back and forth to see Suge and try to negotiate this deal. And we got all the way to the point where we thought we were going to do a deal. And remember, I had a percentage of this deal. Right. And the last time we stopped talking, it was 156 million on the table. Not bad for a connection for a phone call. On my
you said $156 million.
That was what the Interscope. Capital wanted to buy Interscope Death Row for that amount.
Okay.
So I went to bed that night thinking we had the parameters of a deal worked out. Well, following morning, I get a call from the president of Capital. He says, "Stan, did you read the papers? Did you hear the news?" I said, "What?" He says, "Well, Mr. Bronfman from Seagram's flew in on a late night flight and got with Suge, and they did a $200 million deal. We're out of it." I said, "Oh, wow. Damn. Okay." Well, that was the end of that one. But here's the clincher. Here's the clincher. This is really cool. When I tell you this, you're gonna really love this one. No, this is how dirty this fucking business is. Excuse my mouth, but it's how dirty.
Speak the truth, man. It is what it is.
So here we go. That following Monday, Friday, when we got the bad news, the following Monday, I went up to Capitol to talk to the president. And when I went and parked my car in the parking lot and I went to the check-in gate, they said, "You can't come in, Stan." I said, "What? What do you mean I can't come in?" I said, "Well, we have a block on you from coming into the Capitol Records building." I said, "There must be a problem. Must be a mistake. I'm dealing with the president. Woo, 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 woo. Hold on. Let me call up there." Called up there, said, "No, Mr. Sheppard, you can't come in." Long story short, I've tried to find out the information, and they said the reason that they blocked me from entering the Capitol building from that point on was because I had gang connections. Wow.
But when they needed you to talk to Suge, it was okay for you to come in the building anytime, any way you wanted to, I'm sure. Wow.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let me tell you something. You got a man here that's talking to you that the major labels really do not like. You know why? Because I know their shit. I know what they do. I know how they do it. I'm a little legal mastermind. And I fuck you up if you try to fuck me or my clients up. And that's not no bravado shit. It's just from years of being fucked, you get good at being a prostitute and whore.
Yep.
That's all it is. It's as simple as that. If you're a plumber, after 40 years, don't you know how to fix a fucking leak?
Yeah.
It doesn't make you a genius. You've just been doing it for a long time, and that's all I'm saying for me. I'm no better than anybody else. I just know your frigging games. And when they come out, I identify them. And so the executives, "Ooh, don't bring him up in here because we can't fuck his artist. We can't fuck him." I know your games. Do I need your money? No, I'm already paid. Been paid. Will continue to be paid. Don't need it. That's why I talk shit. That's why I tell the truth. I don't want these young brothers in this business to get fucked.
Let me ask you this, and that last statement you just made. From the beginning of rock and roll, we've always heard about, particularly Black artists, soul artists, getting screwed over. Why has that been so prevalent for so long? It's like it no matter what gets done to whom from any generation, it repeats itself even up till today. So why is that a continuing process where somebody hasn't said, okay, well, we'll learn from the generation before us on an executive level, on a management level, and even on an artistic level? These lessons are out there. It's not like it's hidden. So why is it so repetitive, particularly with us?
lack of money and opportunities, more so than any other race. And let me explain that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know anybody who's like creative and maybe would want to be a recording artist?
Plenty of people.
Okay. Well, here's what I'm going to do to you. Most of these artists that want to be noticed or to get on, as they call it today, well, they have to pay somebody. They have to do everything in the world to try to get noticed, right? Because there's so many rappers out there, right?
Right.
But if I tell you right now, as a creative person, hey man, sign with me for 25%. I'm gonna get you with the best producers. I'm gonna have your shit out there for, well, maybe within about 3 months, you're gonna be a known artist. What artist is not going to do it?
Right.
If you're in the game of music, you want to be noticed, unless you want to sing in your bathroom for yourself and your family, friends, or whatever. But if you're trying to get into the music business, you want to sell product. You want to get noticed.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not going to sit back and whisk away an opportunity that is put in front of you, even though it might not be the best deal for you at the time.
Right.
Okay? I mean, it just doesn't happen that way in the real world. How many people are going to turn down $100,000 if they're broke and sign for 2 albums? I'm going to give you an album budget for 2 albums. Plus here's $100 bond for you.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm going to pay your rent. All I want you to do is concentrate on your music. Who's going to turn that down? And even if you turned it down and you wanted to do it yourself, you got to come out of pocket for people like me. Mm-hmm. You want my assistance? Pay me. Right. I'm not going to give you my Rolodex that took me 45 years to develop, and now I got to give it to you because it's your dream. Right. No, bruh. No, you're in a cutthroat business.
Absolutely.
You're in a cutthroat business. And most of you look like you're in your 30s, right?
Thank you.
Well, you guys look like you're in your 30s. I'm 70 years old. So I'm just telling you here right now, I don't know too many people in your age group that want to help each other succeed. Right. Most of you guys, and I'm not saying you guys, but I'm just saying most of the rap game are pulling motherfuckers down.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're not trying to build them up. If they were trying to build them up, they wouldn't be saying, give me $100,000 for this feature. Man, that means I got to go out and hustle some goddamn drugs on the street to get $100,000 to pay you to get a fucking goddamn feature. Now I can't even get it cleared. So I can't even sell it. So all it is a promotional item for me for $100,000.
Right.
And I'm thinking about going to jail behind this shit. Man, what's wrong with y'all? What's wrong with y'all? I don't get it. I really don't get it. I'm going to tell you something right now, and I know this shit's going to be blasted. I wouldn't give a motherfucker in this business a goddamn dime now. Not a dime. Because they won't give you the time of day unless you're popping on their level and they want to do a trade-off or a barter thing for you. Man, ain't nobody messing with you.
Right.
Ain't nobody messing with you. Don't give me that hip-hop stuff.
Right.
Don't give me, oh, this is our culture and we loved you. And no, you don't love me. You don't love me. And I don't love you because I don't know you well enough to love you.
Exactly. Exactly.
Stop using that term all the time. Oh, we family. We're this, we're that, we're family. Man, you know I love you. You my unk. Fuck up one time and see if you unk again. Fuck up one time with somebody that's funny and see if you unk.
Mm-hmm.
Man, get out of here with that.
Think that it's possible? Do you think it's possible? And I'm gonna give you a scenario. In the music business today, the group comes in on a business level or individuals. They have their own money, and it's not, a large amount of money, but they have enough money to independently make some noise and get their situation off the ground.
Give me a figure. Give me a figure.
I would say roughly about 400, 500,000.
Okay, cool.
Just cumulatively.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think it's possible for that situation to come to a table, period? They pretty much control on a smaller level because of the amount of money they're dealing with. They control their own fate, their own destiny, and say they have a 3 to 5 year run. You think that that's possible? They chart. They may not ever go number one, but they have, a certain amount of sales, a certain amount of shows. They build up to a certain level independently. You think that that's possible, dealing and being around the majors and the street elements and everything in the business today, where they could have a run like that and then just turn around and walk away from the business completely and owe nobody nothing?
I'll just say this. Now, remember, I've managed artists for over 30 years, and not just artists, platinum artists.
Absolutely.
Now, saying that to say, I don't know one platinum artist that doesn't want a #1 record on Billboard. I don't know one artist that doesn't want major label recognition. It's something about that major label recognition for artists that just lures them like fish to bait. I don't care how big they get independently. Then they'll come back and tell you, oh, I made this deal because they gave me control and blah, blah, blah. That's the biggest crock of crap I've ever heard in my life. No, you just wanted to stop hustling as hard as you had to hustle to get where you are, and you tired of motherfuckers. You tired of playing motherfuckers from the street. You tired of paying for protection. Man, everybody on the West Coast got to pay for protection in some way, shape, or form. I don't know about anywhere else. But if you're moving something and rap on the West Coast, man, you better be hooked up with some Crips.
They even said that with I'm not to cut you off. They even said that with let's go back to Biggie and Puffy when they had to touch LA. They had to get protection from Crips, as it was stated in previous clips. So
that's just what it is. And the brothers that protected them, those are my buddies. Those are my buddies over on South Side. So I don't want to hear nothing about that. I used to be on South Side 3 to 4 times a week. I'm on Ludus Park. All of my people, there's nobody that I don't know, of my people. If I don't know them, my people know them. I can get to anybody. It's just after 40 years and they know I have been successful, and don't nobody want to fuck with nobody that's unsuccessful.
That's true. It
true. Sounds bad, doesn't it? Oh, they only fuck with Stan because he's successful. I know that. If I was unsuccessful, they wouldn't give a fuck about me.
Right. What do you think?
I'm just sorry. That's just the way of the world.
No, but
who wants to be with someone who is not doing good? Oh, let me seek out a motherfucker to fuck me up.
Right.
Oh, not me.
Let me ask you this on a business level. Why do you think there's such a big disparity between the way the West Coast operates and the East Coast operates?
Let me say this. I've operated on the East Coast. I've operated in Chicago and on the West Coast. I just think that the West Coast is more dangerous because it's sneakier. And they have to, when I say they, I mean people in the industry in all phases, be it the artists, be it the executives, managers, whatever. It's different because the label mentality on the East Coast is different historically than the label mentality on the West Coast. On the West Coast, there was only two labels that meant anything. It was Death Row and Sheppard Lane. Okay. We had power and Death Row had power. If we didn't have power, we were nothing. It's just the West Coast structure is based on power, where I think the only thing I can say is that the gang culture has so infected the West Coast that it's totally different from the East Coast. And as I always tell everybody, man, one of the worst things you want to do is have some gangsters on the West Coast focus on you, because they'll wait. They'll wait. I had people tell me that, I have to say it, that had killed people that they waited over 5 years to kill. And how do you keep that hatred going for 5 years? And then you know what you're going to do, come back. And they went back and, I hear about it and I'm like, oh, that hatred. So for me in the record industry, the difference on the West Coast and the East Coast is the gangsterism level. I'll just put it like that. And the A&R directors know that as well.
I gotta ask.
Go ahead.
No, I want you to finish your point. I interrupted. My apology.
The New York situation, even though they do the different dance and stuff like that, I don't know what the woos and chews and whatever they're doing. I'm 70 years old. I'm just speaking what I know.
Right.
Yeah.
The New York guys kind of emulated what the West Coast dudes did. And to me, like it's a little, I don't know. I never really understood it, and I never really understood why different regions of the country would fall up under the Pyru Blood and Crip organizations and rules when they weren't from LA. And I mean, I just never understood it. Why would you die for something that I don't understand it, man? That's why it's confusing to me, and I try not to figure it out anymore because I don't think even the young brothers know anymore what they want.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Yeah. We're definitely in some strange times. Who would you say on a business level, and this is not any disrespect to either side, but just as far as business and the bottom line, making that bottom line, which one between the East and the West Coast would you say overall in hip hop has been more successful financially?
Well, first of all, I don't think any rap label can compare with Death Row.
Right.
I mean, truth be told. I mean, strictly in rap. Now you can have some other labels that have had some hits in R&B mixed in with rap and all like that, and maybe some pop hits and all like that. But I'm just talking about rap. So when it comes to rap, I don't think anybody is on par with Death Row.
You want to say Death Row and Bad Boy was kind of like neck and neck during those times, like as like the top from East to West?
Let me say this, and no disrespect to anybody on the East Coast or Bad Boy. Nobody in the West Coast really gave too much about anybody but Biggie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody loved Biggie on the West Coast. We'll bang Biggie's music all the time, but I didn't hear too many other New York artists being played like Biggie.
Oh yeah,
now,
yeah. Of course not. I don't think it was either.
Yeah, I just didn't hear it. Sometimes you'd hear a radio hit from some East Coast guys, but it was a nice bouncy radio type tune. It wasn't offensive to anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, but every time Death Row put out something, everybody was listening to say, "Oh shit, who are they challenging? Who are they doing?" Blah blah blah. Blah. It was just a different type of vibe, you know, for rap releases. And understand how many hits they had coming out of Death Row, from Tupac to Dre to the Dog Pound. I mean, the list goes on, and I just don't know many labels that can match that in rap.
Yeah, I wanted to go back. I wanted to bring up NWA, and Public Enemy was what the East Coast version, to me, was the East Coast version of NWA. If, you know, just to put that out there. But I thought Public Enemy, coming from the East Coast, was a big inspiration to NWA becoming who they were.
You know, I could see the similarities of what you're talking about, but just personally, I think the subject matter was a little different because of the LA culture.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? More so with Public Enemy, maybe they were talking, I'm not, again, I'm gonna keep throwing my age up there. But long story short, I just thought that Public Enemy was more political.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
With their lyrics, and where Cube and everybody was more appealing to the street element on the West Coast. Because everything on the West Coast has to emanate, and I'm saying has to. You're nothing on the West Coast unless you've got some protection, unless you're from somewhere. Someone will ask you, "Oh, this is my new artist. Where's he from?"
Yep.
If you don't say where you're from, it's like, okay, well, who wants to hear you?
Right.
You know, don't nobody want to hear you.
Yeah.
So you have to, it's just ingrained in the culture.
Where you from?
Where are you from? It's never changed. Not from the West Coast version. And everywhere else in the Western region adopted that culture. Who the hell was banging in Little Rock? Who the hell was banging in Albuquerque?
Right.
Yeah.
New Mexico? You ever driven through New Mexico? You ever taken a train? Well, I have. That's a cold blood adventure right there, bro. Ain't nothing out there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't understand it. I really don't. You know how it's just this whole culture right now. The whole hip hop culture is warped. It's warped. And I work with gangbangers every day in Chicago. Both Black P. Stone, both Gangster Disciples, and Black Disciples. Man, this culture is violence oriented.
Yes.
Yeah, big time.
And guess what? The people in my life says, "Damn, man, you just got such a negative view. What don't you feel there's any hope?" I said, "Fuck no. Fuck no." You know why? I want you to come through Chicago one day and just turn on the radio.
I've been through there in Gary. My family's from both sides, man. So
every song is gang connection or drug connection. If you ain't moving weight, if you're not with a gang, if you're not blah blah blah, man, don't nobody want to hear you. So they say, "Stan, Don't you think there's hope for these streets? No. No. It's going to continue like it is because these young motherfucking gang bangers don't give a fuck about no authority or nobody over 40 years old. Fuck with them and see what happens if you're 40 years old and try to put some shit down on these young motherfuckers 20, 29, 18. They'll blow your head off. Talk about some OG shit. Come to
Without a thought.
Chicago and talk that OG shit